to our special coverage of the Birmingham Commonwealth Games. We are coming to you live from the Victoria Square in Birmingham. It has been a great, India did not manage to win big in cricket, but so far as the others are concerned, they have made a winning start. India lost to Australia by 3 wickets in what was a historic match. For the first time, women's cricket was introduced in the Commonwealth Games, and India as well as Australia made their Commonwealth debut. I had the opportunity of talking to Indian all-rounder Deepti Sharma shortly after India's first match. It was a close finish for the Indian women's cricket team in the first game of the Commonwealth Games against Australia. They lost by a very narrow margin. Joining me is one of India's star players, Deepti Sharma. Deepti, बहुत नजदीक आके इंडिया ये मैच हारे, लेकिन आज का ये जो मैच था, इट वाज मोर अबाउट मेकिंग हिस्ट्री. तो ड्रेसिंग रूम का क्या एटमॉस्फेयर रहा?
स्टार्टिंग से एटमॉस्फेयर काफी अच्छा था और हम सब यही सोच रहे थे कि जितना हम क्लोज लेके जाएंगे मैच को, उतना हम क्लोज भी लेके गए. और अगर देखा जाए बैटिंग बॉलिंग एज अ टीम हम लोगों ने अच्छा खेला, क्योंकि फाइट किया दोनों भी तरफ से, और जो हमने प्लान किया था आई थिंक मोर और लेस हमने उसके हिसाब से ही अप्लाई किया.
स्कोर बहुत लंबा नहीं था, लेकिन जिस तरह से इंडिया ने बॉलिंग में शुरुआत की, खासतौर की रेणुका को हमने पहली बार देखा, उम्मीद था कि रेणुका से बॉल इतना हिलेगा?
डेफिनेटली जो उसकी स्ट्रेंथ थी और जिस पे वो प्रैक्टिस में वर्क कर रही थी, लकीली वो आज काम भी आया, क्योंकि जब आप पिछले 3-4 दिन से नेट में प्रैक्टिस करते हो सेम चीज की और सडनली वो फर्स्ट मैच में अप्लाई होता है, तो काफी कॉन्फिडेंस आता है उस चीज से. और मतलब ऐसा मैंने वन ऑफ द बेस्ट स्पेल देखा T20 में अभी तक एज अ पेसर उसने जैसा किया. तो आई थिंक ऑल क्रेडिट टू हर, जो भी उसने प्रैक्टिस किया उसके हार्ड वर्क के लिए.
और आपने 2 विकेट लिया आज. आपने
जी सेम वही था मेरा जो प्लान दिया गया था मुझे, और जिस हिसाब से विकेट बिहेव कर रहा था उसके अकॉर्डिंग मैं बॉल डाल रही थी. और बीच बीच में मैं और हैरी दी भी बात कर रहे थे कि लाइक अभी कौन सा बॉल डालना है किस बैट्समैन को, तो वो प्लान के हिसाब से हम लोग अप्लाई किए थे.
दीप्ति, आप टीम में बहुत दिन से हैं और काफी सारे यंगस्टर्स आ चुके हैं. आप टीम का जो ट्रांजिशन है वो ओवरसी कर रहे हैं एक तरह से, तो अब तक जो आपने देखा है टीम का ट्रांजिशन कैसा रहा? यू प्लेड विद मिताली, झूलन, अब हरमन, स्मृति, आप एक सीनियर प्लेयर है, तो टीम के ट्रांजिशन के बारे में हमें जरा बताइए.
जी काफी अच्छा है, क्योंकि अभी पूरी टीम काफी मतलब सारे यंग प्लेयर हैं, तो काफी एंजॉय भी करते हैं, एटमॉस्फेयर काफी अच्छा रहता है. और सबसे बड़ी बात है कि चिल करते हैं, मतलब चाहे ग्राउंड पे हो चाहे आउट ऑफ द फील्ड हो, जितना आप एंजॉय करोगे उतना आप अच्छा करोगे डेफिनेटली.
एक आखिरी सवाल, ऑस्ट्रेलिया हो गए, अब अगला पड़ाव है पाकिस्तान, बिग मैच, और हमें ये पता चला कि सारे ग्राउंड में पूरे इंडियंस और पाकिस्तानी रहेंगे. टेल अस अ लिटिल बिट अबाउट व्हाट्स द फीलिंग लाइक?
जब भी पाकिस्तान से मैच होता है ऑलवेज एंजॉय करते हैं, और विल सी, होप फॉर द बेस्ट.
थैंक यू एंड विश यू ऑल द बेस्ट, दीप्ति.
थैंक यू.
Joining me is Australian Broadcasting Corporation's Amanda Shalala to talk about this moment, India and Australia debuting at the Commonwealth Games. Amanda, how big is it for the sport of cricket and for Commonwealth Games as well, because history is being made at Edgbaston?
It's fantastic to see the women's event included. We have seen men's 50 over cricket at the Commonwealth Games, but we see that these women are so spectacular and so phenomenal, particularly the Commonwealth countries. That's the best thing about having T20 women's cricket at the Games, is that all the strongest nations are from the Commonwealth. Of course, Australia, the reigning world champions, India, England, New Zealand. So I think it's a really big moment for the sport. And of course, looking ahead, the Olympic Games, that's something that I think a lot of these teams would like to play in. So it's a great first step towards
Amanda,
that.
you know, one of the obvious questions that I have to ask you is that Australia is making their debut and so is India, but this isn't an England versus Australia first match. It's happening in England. Do you think that the organizers had a look at that phenomenal match that India played against Australia in 2020, the finals of the T20 World Cup.
I mean, that was one of the great cricket matches of all time in the shortest format of the game, wasn't it? Men's or women's. And for Australian fans, we still hold that very dear to our hearts to have that huge crowd at the MCG, nearly 90,000 people, you know, the Katy Perry celebrations at the end, but the quality of that match as well. That is something that lives very strong in the memory and was probably a bit of a turning point for women's sport and women's cricket in Australia as well to really take it to that next level. So I think for sure these two teams have showcased they are of the highest quality and they deserve to be here on this stage opening the Commonwealth Games.
Would you say this would be another turning point for women's cricket because the organizers, all the cricket boards are watching it, organizers are watching it, and perhaps the next step is Olympics?
I think so. So I think when we look at women's cricket, the World Cups are still going to be the biggest events. Commonwealth Games is a very important one and the Australians have said they definitely want to win it. They've pretty much won everything there is, but they want to get that Commonwealth Games gold medal as well to be able to add to that. But the Olympics, if they did manage to get to the Olympics, I think that would be something truly spectacular. It's going to be in Brisbane in Australia in 2032 and there is a push to get some of those sports that Australia is very strong in, like cricket, like netball, into the Olympics. So this would be a good advertisement for it to try and give it that extra push.
Amanda, Australia has almost all titles that possibly a team can win. Would you say that this current Australian team is the most dominant when it comes to women's sports in Australia?
I think so. They're definitely right up there. When we're looking at all our elite Australian women's sporting teams, this is probably currently the most successful team in terms of all the different titles they hold and just the nature of their wins and the fact that they are able to go into any conditions to any country, take them on and succeed. So we've got a lot of great talent across many different sports. We're very fortunate in that respect. But this moment in time right now, yeah, I would say our Australian women's cricketers are right up there.
Well, the swimmers have also been very, very dominant for Australia. But coming here, would you say a gold medal guaranteed for the women's cricket team?
Oh my gosh, nothing is ever guaranteed, is it?
Particularly in sport.
Exactly, but especially from what we saw in that World Cup a couple of years ago, there were many times when Australia could have been knocked out much earlier and not even won.
And India surprisingly has beaten Australia time and again in group games.
Yes, so it's definitely not a guarantee. This team would be incredibly disappointed though if they didn't get the gold medal, I will say that. So they place very high expectations on themselves and at the Commonwealth Games, it is gold medal or bust.
So India lost in cricket but gained some wins on the first day of the Commonwealth Games and those were predictable. Manika Batra in fact won her first round match and so did Shrija Akula. Shrija Akula in fact helped India take an unassailable 3-0 lead and subsequently wrap up the women's team Group 2 tie against Fiji as she beat Grace Rossi 11-7, 11-1, 11-2. Indian women's team won both their tie today. They had beaten South Africa earlier. In badminton, big win for PV Sindhu and Kidambi Shrikant. Sindhu defeated Pakistan's Mahur Shahzad in straight sets to give India 3-0 lead in badminton event. Earlier, Ashwini Ponnappa and S. Reddy defeated their Pakistan counterpart in the mixed badminton game, while Kidambi Shrikant knocked out Muhammad Ali in straight sets. T. Jolly and Gayatri Pulela thumped M. Shehzad and G. Siddiq 21-4, 21-5 to complete the rout after Ranki Reddy and Chirag Shetty thrashed Pakistani pair of Ali and Bhatti 21-12, 21-9 in men's doubles. India defeated Pakistan 5-0. An expected result from the boxing ring as well. Shiva Thapa beat Pakistan Suleiman Baloch in men's 60 to 63.5 kilogram category in the round of 32 match. Shiva Thapa won the first round with 10s from all 5 judges, while Baloch got 4 9s and 1 8. In the second round, Pakistan's Baloch lost 1 point due to warning as Thapa got 5 10s yet again, while the Pakistani got 3 9s and 2 8s. Earlier, I caught up with an Indian superfan who has traveled to every Olympic Games since 2000 Athens, 2000 in Sydney, and also over the last 4 Commonwealth Games, he has been on ground supporting Team India. He has seen many of them win several spectacular medals. Listen into him. As I made my way into the Alexander Stadium, I caught up with one special Indian fan, Om Prakash Mundra, who has travelled all the way from Nagpur, and he is a face you will see in most of the major sports events across the globe where India takes part. Mr. Mundra, I have probably met you at different stadiums across the globe, and very, very happy to meet you today at the opening ceremony of the Commonwealth Games. Tell our viewers, how many Commonwealth is it for you?
This is my 4th Commonwealth game, and first I was a volunteer in 2010 with my wife. Then we traveled to 2014 Glasgow game with my wife, 2018 Australia again with my wife. This time she has not come with me, but this is my 4th Commonwealth game.
But you've done many Olympic Games as well.
I have not missed a single Olympic till today from 2000. All Olympics I have gone.
From Sydney, you've been there.
Sydney was my first Olympic. Then 2004 I was a volunteer in Athens Athens Olympics. Then 2008 I was in Beijing. I was selected up to 3rd round, but they wanted me to learn Chinese, which was very difficult for me, and I had to just give up. Then 2012 I was again in London. 2016 I was a volunteer again for Olympic and Paralympic both. Then 2020 was not there, but I went to Tokyo also for Olympic and Paralympic.
Mr. Mundra, what is so special about this games? There has been a lot of talks about this as being one of these games where India may not win that many medals because shooting is not a part of these medals. But you, the Indian superfan, is here.
Actually, people talk about many things, but I say hardly matters. Sometimes some games are not there, sometimes the games are added. This time cricket has been added. Shooting is not there. No doubt in Australia we get maximum 16 I think medals in shooting. So it hardly matters whether, so if it is not there, but participation is more important in games than winning. This is my principle. No doubt winning and medal gives you a different pleasure, but I believe in participation, because sometimes if some people ask me, this is a colonial game, we were ruled by the Britishers, this and that, what's the use in...
yes, a lot of talks on relevance of the Commonwealth Games.
But actually I say Commonwealth Games has brought all our colonial very together, and this is a platform. Actually I say it is a sports religion for me, because sports brings everyone together, not they take you to away.
That's all we could bring from Birmingham as of today, but do expect at least a couple of medals from the Indian contingent as early as the 2nd day of the Games. With that, a wrap on our special presentation. Thanks for watching.
Welcome to another side of Britain.
A side where we discover new flavours on every street corner.
Where we take good times to new heights.
And where ways to get around are limited only by our sense of adventure.
In 2022, come and join us for an unmissable year of celebration.
So get ready to explore different every day.